He saw that Rhoda had set a place for him in one of the booths and stood there with a pitcher of ice water and half-pack of cigarettes. That was how they had met. She had seen that his portions were extra large, and the double scoop of ice cream on a pie was a little gift from her. It was almost quitting time, she explained, and if he didn't have a place to go, the court apartment she rented was only streets away, and the bathroom was larger than the living room. But there was a large stall shower, all tiled, and while he really cleaned up, she would do his laundry. "Do you do that for everyone who comes in off the road?" he asked, and was immediately sorry, because the question indicated he thought of her as a tramp. "Son," his mother had once said, "in this town of ours, the whores could make a pretty good living if it wasn't for the waitresses." That was his mother, sharp of tongue and observation, and one of the reasons he had decided to leave home was his father and what his mother's observations had done to him. But Rhoda didn't look at all offended. Of course, not for everyone, neither would you. But wouldn't you do it for a friend? Sure. That's it, she continued. I knew right off we were going to be friends because I only have good-looking actors as friends. Actors? Naturally. To each his own. Are you formal or method? But whatever you are, you've got a wonderful chin and deep, deep eyes. Which was not the reason at all. Sure, he had hoped to see some movie stars, see their houses and the places they hung out. He had read about Schwab's in the Hollywood columns, and as the tourists from Ohio had driven along Sunset Boulevard on their way to relatives in Santa Monica, and he had become increasingly nervous about being hailed as a thief. He had seen the sign above the drugstore and decided to leave the good folks there. But not because he wanted to be an actor. The thought made him grin, and his strong, handsome face, tanned and darkened by the sun and wind, was warmed by a smile that revealed his white, even teeth. An actor? What he had hoped for was a job in an aircraft plant or something similar, a plant where he could make use of his ingenuity with tools and ability to use the micrometer and read a blueprint, talents which had always amazed his family because no one close to them had ever been anything but farmers or clerks. But he had no place to go. $15, almost $16 wasn't much, and Rhoda had changed into tight shorts, a tighter sweater, and had drawn her long brown hair into a bun. While he had showered, she had sprayed gold highlights into her hair, fixed her eyes by adding dark lines of pencil around the lids, and made 2 highballs. She was older than he, this he knew, but only by 2 or 3 years. Still, in a girl, it was an awful lot of years. But he was 19, good-looking, lean and handsome. This he knew. This he had been told. And if someone who had obviously been around and knew this place as well as Rhoda thought he could be an actor, changing my name doesn't mean I've changed my friends. He returned to the present with an outrageous lie. But I've a question for you. He forestalled an obvious gibe. Just how did you get in here? The apartment was in a good building on Beverly Glen, and the superintendent had strict orders that no one was ever to be admitted when he wasn't there. This was necessary because several fan club presidents of jailbait age had once been found in the apartment, and they had made themselves free with several bottles and more personal souvenirs. And Rhoda, still wearing the high makeup, her hair pretty well shot because of many bleachings and dyeings, its ends brittle and broken because she would decide that certain colorings had to be done immediately rather than over extended periods, was not the sort of person who could sweet-talk the super. She was wearing 2 tight black elastic slacks with metallic threads that reflected light, and her black cotton turtleneck sweater was thin at the elbows and, as always, too tight. But it was the scuffed and shapeless flats of cracked patent leather that told him Rhoda was really down on her luck. At her feet lay an oversized purse that bulged. But in her case, clothes still weren't necessary to make the man, and at another time, some years before, he might have laughed at finding her in his apartment.